Hey everyone, it's Dawn here. Happy New Year 2024. So I guess I'll do a video addressing my little writer first impression thingy that with Marty's S16, the Kingsong. So well, Marty put out two videos now. The first one, and I think he's trying to get me in trouble, is where he worded it, or he titled it something like testing the cutout ability of the Kingsong S16, right? And that wasn't exactly what I was doing. So in the second video, in the rider impression video of the S16, you kind of see the whole story of what transpired. And that was that we were meeting up for our for Marty's 2024 New Year's Day GMR ride. And I usually am the first one to be at rides. And because I like to have my alone time to like settle and everything before anything else. That's kind of important to me. So I'm always the first one. And Marty's always one of the last ones. He usually comes late even to his own rides. It's a whole joke thing with us. Anyways, so I get there and Marty's already there. And I'm like, what's going on? And so he's like, oh yeah, I brought the S16 and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. So he's like, yeah, I'll bring it over for you to try it. I was like, awesome, new wheel, yay. And he had been super hush-hush about this wheel for the longest time in our Telegram or his Telegram group. Then he was like, guess what I have in this box and da-da-da, and he's not telling anyone. And it's just super hush-hush, right? So I'll play that game for a little while and then I'll be like, never mind. Fine, if you don't want to tell me, then I don't want to know, sort of thing. But yeah, my best guess is it's a baby wheel, and I love baby wheels. So anyways, in his latest video, the rider impression one, then you see what happens. I was just parked, getting out of my car, starting to pull things out and stuff, but not really. I hadn't even pulled my wheel out of the car or nothing. I hadn't pulled my gear out, nothing. And then Marty comes riding up and he's like, da da da, check out my new wheel, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that thing? And he's like, the new Kingsong S16 Pro, because it was supposed to be the Pro. And the Pro is a little bit faster than the S16. Improvements and faster and all that good stuff. So it's like, okay, cool. So I don't know anything about Kingsongs. In fact, before this, I had only ever ridden one Kingsong wheel. And excuse me, I'm choking. And that was Fred's S22 that he forced me to ride at Fullerton Loop. And I don't know why he was all like, yeah, Don, you have to ride the S22. And I said, I don't have an S22. He goes, ride mine. And I'm like, I'm not going to ride yours. I don't want to endanger your wheel. And he's like, no, you got to ride it. So anyways, we went back and forth until finally I was like, okay, fine, I'll ride your wheel. And it was like the weirdest thing because he met me there. He wasn't even going to ride his own wheel. And I took his wheel, got it all, the pad set up for me and everything. And I rode it on the Fullerton Loop. And surprisingly, I pulled my best times at Fullerton Loop with that S22. Someone else's, Fred's S22 that I just hopped on, and I wasn't even used to that wheel. And my conclusion of that wheel was that S22 is a really awesome wheel. I love that wheel. The only thing is that it does that thing where it just will randomly fall over, faint, and die for no reason at all. And it happens all the time and time again on our group rides. People with S22s, they'll be like, riding them forever, and then all of a sudden, for no reason at all, you just do a little step off, just a little baby step off, and then it just keels over and dies. So I won't go for a wheel like that. But other than that, it was an amazing wheel. But that was only that one time that I rode a Kingsong wheel. So here's a Kingsong, here's another Kingsong wheel all of a sudden, and a S16. I don't know what that means. I don't know anything about it. And so it was like, he brings it over, and then I'm like, oh, can I ride it? And he's like, yeah, of course. So, without gear or anything, I hop on it, and I was just thinking, yeah, just tool around. Me, just tootle around. I have done that in the past. I mean, I am absolutely capable of tootling around, but I don't know. I haven't ridden in a long time because, the weather's been cold and it's been depressing, and, holidays and all. So I hadn't ridden in a while. And then I hop on this wheel, and the wheel felt great. I'm blaming the wheel. The wheel felt great. It was balanced. It was responsive. It was a great wheel. And I was like, so then I started going a little faster, and I started going a little faster. And it wasn't just like I got on and I was like, oh, let's cut out the wheel. No, I was just like, da 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 da. I was like, zoom over here, zoom over here. I was like, la la la. And I'm freaking ADD. And so I have no idea how fast I'm going or what. I'm just riding. So anyways, then it beeps, and then I'm used to our Begode wheels that there's a series of beeps. You have your first set of beeps, you have your second set of beeps, and then your third set of beeps, and then you die. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, here's the first set of beeps. Well, that's not very fast. So after a few of those and hitting those safely, I was like, it still feels like it's got plenty of power. I was like, let's go for the second set of beeps. So, and you see exactly what happens in the video. I did a beep, 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 and then I backed off, and I said, let's go for the second set of beeps. And I went beep, 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 and then it dipped. And so it dips, I recover it, and I was like, oh, well, that sucked. And then I came back, and when I turned back around, Marty was so scared. He was standing in the middle of the road, and he had his hand up like this, and he's like, Don, stop. And I was like, really, Marty? Like, you can calm down. I'm going to pull in. It's like, I'm going to pull in and talk. You don't have to freaking stand in the middle of the road and keep holding your hand as if what? I'm going to break through that barrier and go, no, Marty, I'm just going to keep going and dip in this wheel. So I'm like, calm down, Marty. I'm going to stop. So I pull in, and then he's all like, he said in the video, he's like, Dawn, he said something like, oh man, I forgot to tell Dawn that this isn't a fast wheel. And I think he was kicking himself about that. But I'm like, Marty, I kind of found out for myself right there when it dipped, right? So I pull in, and then he's all like, Dawn, I forgot to tell you this isn't a fast wheel. And I laugh because I'm like, oh yeah, now you tell me, but I kind of found out for myself, don't you think? Didn't you see the dip? And then he's like, yeah, that was a big dip. I was like, yeah, it felt like a big dip. And then, and so anyways, so that's what happened. And then of course, after, he's like, do you know how fast you were going? And the reason why he's asking is because the difference between the S16 and the S16 Pro is that the S16 only goes to 30 miles an hour, and the S16 Pro is supposed to go to 37 miles an hour, something like that. So the difference would be in kilometers per hour, which was what was set on the wheel at the time. It would show a display of 50 miles an hour versus 60 miles an hour, or 51 and 61, something like that. So, and he was wondering if it was the S16 that he had received or the S16 Pro that he received, because on the box it said S16 and then the hand wrote Pro on it. Which is just hilarious. It's like, it's like, is this really a Pro? Because they only hand wrote it on the outside, right? So then he's like, well, do it again. Not without the dips, of course, but do it again. And this time just stop at the beeps and let's see what the top speed is so that we know if this is the 16 or the 16 Pro. So I was like, okay, cool. So, I mean, there wasn't anything to be nervous or scared about and all that because we all know the limits. It is safe all the way up to the fourth beep. Just don't surpass the fourth beep. And if you keep pressing, if you can see this on the video, which is why I love that we have this kind of stuff on video. I love having this kind of data. So you can see in the video at the fourth beep, because I was still holding the acceleration pressure, at the fourth beep, it starts to dip down. And so, yeah, just don't do that. So that's why I even said it in the video. I was like, yeah, I should be fine. Just as long as I back off, as soon as I hear the beeps, then we should be fine. And that's all we needed to know. As soon as we hear the beeps, what is, at what speed is it beeping at? And it beeped at 51 kilometers per hour, confirming that it was the S16 and not the Pro. So, Marty posts this up. And he posts it up on Facebook, which is, of course, all the drama queens are over there. And yes, absolutely, everyone's talking about how I wasn't wearing gear. And yes, absolutely, I always advocate for gear. But I've always been honest and told everyone as well that I'm not a gear Nazi. I had plenty of times I will tootle around without any gear at all because I just hop on my wheel. In fact, every single day when I use my M10-4 to tootle back from the house to the RV, which is only a few feet and all that, I'm not gearing up to do that. I'm just wearing this. And so, have I fallen in the few feet between the RV and the house? Yeah, I have, in the backyard and stuff. It's like, but there is a difference between a person that is experienced in all that and experienced in falling and all that stuff and someone who's not, right? But not advocating not to wear gear. I am absolutely always encouraging people to wear gear. And I know that because I know the importance of gear because I've tested to the extremes, crashing over 120 miles an hour with gear on and knowing and seeing how that gear has saved me. So yes, absolutely. It was dumb of me to ride that wheel without gear. It wasn't an intentional thing. This is just what happened. And then you watch, you keep watching his video and then you see that other people, it's like we're in the parking lot. So we're just like tootling around and goofing off and stuff like that. And that's just in real life what happens around here with us, all of us reckless SoCal riders, I guess. We're just around wheels so much. So no excuses or anything like that. It's just an explanation of where our mindset, or my mind, I'm not going to speak for anyone else, where my mindset was at and everything. Oh, here, you guys want to see him? So anyways, so it was funny because a lot of people were kind of like asking about my reaction when I get the dip and then I come in and I seem to be so happy and everyone's like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, I don't know. What is the proper reaction to have? I mean, should I have cried? Should I have been trembling in fear? Should I have been screaming and yelling with wildly, illogically displaced anger at Marty for whatever reason, trying to blame Marty, that Marty didn't tell me that this wasn't a fast wheel? Or no, none of those reactions make sense. Of all of the emotions and reactions that I can think of, happy seems to be the most logical one, because no, I'm not happy that I almost died, but I am happy that I totally survived. I'm happy that I didn't totally screw up, because there was that thought. Now, I am very open and honest with you guys, and so I will tell you guys the not so happy things about what happened with that dip. So as it beep beep beep, and I'm expecting for it to pause and then give me a little more, the second set of beeps, and then it starts to dip. The minute it starts to dip, now here's something that I've had arguments with people about. I know from all of my life experiences, having a gazillion near-death experiences, that at certain critical moments, like before a crash, my mind can slow down time. And it could be that my mind is firing faster, or that it's slowing down time, or whatever. But if you watch the video, the whole thing of the dip happens in like less than a second. And in that time, look at how many thoughts I had, okay? I'm going to share all of my deepest, darkest internal thoughts that happened in my head at that time. So I'm going down, it goes beep, 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 and it starts to dip. And my immediate thought was, oh shit, Dawn, you done and screwed up good this time. We're dipping, we're going to die. And then I was like, you don't have gear on, and this is Marty's brand new baby wheel that he was super, super secretive about, and you were the first one to ride it, and you were going to destroy this wheel, and then I even thought, I was like, I'm sorry, Marty. And then I was like, oh, shame, Dawn, shame, shame, shame. You done and screwed up good. You might as well just curl up and die now. and then I had the thought that this is gonna hurt. And then I had the thought of, hold up. What the? Just keep trying. And I was like, what? And it's like, this time it wasn't the words keep trying, but it was just this little spark of hope that was just like, you got this. And so then it's like, okay. And, I pulled back with everything I got, and it came up, and it came up with power. So that is a difference between the Kingsongs and the Begode wheels. Kingsong wheels, apparently, now I know, they are constantly always trying to keep you upright. And that is something specific to Kingsong wheels and not Begode wheels. So that is what I felt, this active, and it came back up with power. Like other dips that I've recovered have all been on Begode wheels, and it comes up, but it comes up still feeling very weak, like, soft pedals. And no, this came up like firm and strong, and it like came back up, and I was like, wow, I really like that. And so anyways, it came up, and then I was like, we're good. And I was like, yay, we didn't die, and I didn't ruin Marty's wheel, and I'm not a disappointment to everybody. It's like, yay. So that is why I was so happy, I guess. And could I have looked at it as a glass half empty instead and come back with shame and, crying or anger or what? I don't know what other emotions there are, but I don't know. Happy just seemed to fit. And did I come out of it kind of spanking myself, going, Dawn, you gotta freaking pay attention, and you gotta stop losing yourself in the clouds and, over torquing these poor little baby wheels. And then of course I was like, yeah, why is that stupid little baby wheel so weak? There's some displaced anger for you there. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm just ADD. I was just enjoying and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit of a free spirit, wild card. It's like, I never know. It's like, I didn't hop on the wheel thinking, oh yeah, we're going to push this to the limit. We're going to zoom. No, I hopped on the wheel just going, okay, let's see what this baby wheel feels like. And then it just felt so good riding it. So I just went zoom. So anyways, but yes, definitely slap on the wrist, and we'll Try to be better. God, I am hopeless. But I've told you guys that before. You guys know this about me. So, anyways, there was that. And what was the other question that people asked me? Let's see. The biggest one was my inappropriate reaction to the near-death experience. And I'm like, would you guys have felt better if I had pulled over and was crying? I was like, there was that. And then there was, oh God, maybe I talked about it already, like what it felt like to have it recover. Oh, and then the other thing was when I pulled back. Do you guys remember when the RV's refrigerator zapped me, and it zapped me with electricity? It zapped me so hard, and when it did that, my arm like yanked back so hard because of the zap, and I actually ended up tearing my tricep muscles and some muscles in my shoulder just from yanking back so hard. And I was like, oh my gosh, why you yank back so hard? You hurt yourself. It was like, oh, that was kind of dumb. Well, when this dip happened, I yanked back so hard that I actually hurt the long muscles on my thoracolumbar section. So thoraco means chest, lumbar means the lumbar region, your lower back. And in that section of the long muscles back there, I guess, who'd have thought? Those are the muscles that I used to pull back. And I pulled back so hard that I actually tore those muscles. So I have been in back pain for a little while, and I haven't told anybody this. But so yeah, I am not without injury. These are the secrets that I had. Oh, what's going on with my hair? You know, that would look really cool if I could like do that on purpose and keep it like that, but I can't. But anyways, I'm sorry, ADD, I told you guys. So, all right, so that's it. None of it was on purpose. Yes, absolutely. If I had been actually testing the cutout capability of the S16, then I would have geared up, of course, but that was not what was going on. I was just going for a little test ride that got a little bit too excited with. So anyways, don't be so mad at me, you guys. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Apologies. And thank you for your continued support. Thank you for those of you that decided to not be mad at me and be understanding of my wild child behavior, ADD-ness. And Happy New Year. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.